Okay, on with the show. Going global. How can we boost the uptake? Oh, thank you, Priscilla. Cheers, darling. Thank you so much. Clean glasses over there, gents. Are we all okay? Okay, so we'll start from looking at this from a global perspective, and the easiest way of doing that is actually just to look at the sponsors. We're here at ITS UK. We're in Manchester, but for the ITS UK conference for 2025, we've got global sponsors. We've got AWS up there. We've got Snapper from Miki on the end there. Thank you for your sponsorship. We'll come to you in a sec. And also Mott McDonald, and then we can see Google just behind me on the side there as well. So it's blatantly obvious that we are now living in a global world. We are obviously now going to start looking at how we can all work together. We're building up to the ITS World Congress here in 2027 in Birmingham, as you'll no doubt be aware already. So let's start from the far end. Miki, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi everyone, my name's Miki Szikszai. I'm the Chief Executive of Snapper Services. One of the main things we want to talk today about is the Global Public Transport Index, which we've developed, where we're ingesting data from different regions around the world and helping the industry understand what their performance looks like and how they can improve.
Okay, thank you. Next to Miki is Donal. Donal from ITS Nationals.
Donal Hodgins, Chair of ITS Nationals. So ITS Nationals is a group of 30 national ITS associations. ITS UK is one of the members, so I'm here representing that group.
Thank you. Kimmo, you're from Fintraffic. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you. So my name is Kimmo Ylisiurunen, coming from Fintraffic. Fintraffic is a Finnish state-owned company related to traffic and especially related to data and traffic management. So we are responsible for traffic management in all traffic modes. My role is there to lead a traffic data service cluster, which is like being here also the reason to find out new partnership for Finnish companies in abroad.
Okay, thank you. Chris, you're second along.
Hi, yes, I'm Chris Lane. I lead Transport Innovation for Transport for West Midlands. I'm also leading on the delivery of the ITS World Congress. And my challenge is how do we make the most of what the UK's got to offer to attract the rest of the world to come and see us?
Thank you. And Sven.
Yes, hello. My name is Sven Aulik. I'm from Estonia and having two hats today. First of all, I work, of course, for my company called Fleetguru, which is the fleet management service provider in Baltics and in Scandinavia. And the other hat is actually representing ITS Estonia, as we are here with the delegation on top of me.
Good, thank you so much. And for those of you that I didn't introduce myself to, Neil Levitt, I'm a director of ITS UK here and be the chair of the session. So, gents, thank you for coming. Hope you've all had safe journeys over. Obviously, pleasure to have you here in Manchester today. So, just thinking about how things work in your territories. You've heard today, and obviously from Darren, we heard about a moment or two ago from Department for Transport here in the UK, how our community works. How does that mix up compared to the territories you work in? So, Miki, start from the end.
Yeah, I think I'll take actually quite a wide perspective rather than just a New Zealand one. Obviously, New Zealand's part of ITS Group, and we're members of ITS Australia and New Zealand. One of the things that we see is, and this event is a great example of it, is that it's a very collaborative sector. Particularly transport authorities, they're not really in competition with each other. They're all looking at how do they get the best outcome for their citizens, their taxpayers, and effectively drive mode shift in the most part. So what we see is that there's this real hunger to learn from each other, but often they don't know who to compare against in terms of who's similar, who's different, and one of the things that we see that enables that is that they're all publishing open data. We thought, well, that's an area where we can maybe shine a bit of a light on actually who's doing well and what good looks like.
Sure. I mean, obviously as well, from a company based in New Zealand, I think you're working with one of the authorities here as well in West Yorkshire.
Yes, so we're working with West Yorkshire. We're working with TransLink in Northern Ireland. We're working with West Sussex, East Sussex, Cambridgeshire, a number of authorities in the English market. But we're also working in parts of Europe as well. So we're ingesting data from Spain, from some of the Nordics as well. Can't wait to get into the Baltics. But I think it's all really around painting that picture.
Sure. Cross-referencing who's doing what where and what good looks like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, interesting. Donal, I suppose you get a very broad view of things representing all of the nationals.
Yeah, the key word there is collaboration. So along with collaboration is the communication across the nationals, because duplication is okay,
Yeah.
but not when everyone's doing the same thing and banging their head against the wall. So that's really important. And, and that's where the collaboration, cooperation, and keeping the communication lines open so that people can learn what works and what doesn't work. And even in terms of pricing of public transport and the effect that might have on ITS deployment, you'll have examples from different cities and different countries. So that's really the key.
So you're facilitating trips to different environments for people. They can go, they can do their learning, they can actually get to see things working in the real environment rather than just sitting on stages and hypothesising.
Well, I suppose the first thing to say is that if you're a member of ITS UK, then you have access to the ITS Nationals. So if anyone isn't a member of ITS UK, as Max probably will forgive me for saying, shame on you, but anyhow.
Probably printing membership forms out for
So on the basis that everyone is, you have access then. So you've access to over 2,000 fee-paying members across the network. So Fintraffic or whatever. So if you hear something interesting today, or you know a colleague who's interested in that, get in touch.
Yeah, I think that's a really powerful message as well, and I think sometimes it's something that as a community we need to make more of. A lot of people think about the networking opportunities that they can achieve by joining an organisation like ITS UK because Max, our CEO, runs some very strong special interest groups and advocacy groups, and then obviously we're engaging with Darren and Department for Transport, but it's that wider community around Europe, around the globe, that we don't tap into maybe as much as we should do. What about you, Kimmo?
I think the magic word collaboration was already said here. So it's the key for everything. So there are two good examples from our side. The first one is being here with some colleagues from Estonia. We really would like to work together with other countries, as we have already really active role in Nordics and Baltics. We are working together with these organizations. The other example is also coming from especially from data side. We are really working with data ecosystem in Finland. We have more than 200 members working together in order to collaborate with the data and what to do with the data in order to make more out of it. So it's a good example for.
And is that open source data that's free at the point of access, or is that paid for data, or how are you?
It's open for everyone. It's open for everyone.
Yeah. Okay. So everybody can make their requests and put it in.
True.
And that's across all of your modes, isn't it? Because as you said earlier on, you're doing the rail. Sorry, you're doing the land, sea, and air.
We have different groups working for different areas, and those groups are open for everyone. If you are coming from maritime, you can talk with maritime issues with maritime people. If you're coming from public transportation, you are talking with them. But also we are also integrating these discussions and also this work, because as we are born with integration with all traffic modes, so we have to think about all traffic modes every time.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I heard one of the case studies earlier on that somebody was talking about, that I think it was Ryan in the first session said that if there was a problem on one of the ferries, then obviously there's the knock-on effect of that on the roads as well. So it's making sure that all of that information is shared, just even at that local level. Yeah, Chris. You obviously got two hats, haven't you? Because do you want to explain your other role as what your day job?
Yes, my day job is leading transport innovation for Transport for West Midlands. But I think the interesting thing here is continuing the theme of collaboration. I think it is absolutely fundamental. As a region, we don't believe we've got every answer, and we don't believe we can solve everything on our own. So we absolutely need to collaborate with people. And as we think about moving forwards to the World Congress, it's a perfect opportunity to do that collaboration. We're all facing similar problems. The UK has done some brilliant things, but we maybe don't have all the answers. So it would be really good to learn from others that have got experience elsewhere and start to learn and adapt and move that forwards. And to that end, as part of our organisation of the Congress, our National Advisory Group has non-UK members on that. So we have the Nordics on there, we've got some people from the US, etc. So what we want to say is that we prepare something that's relevant for exactly what you're saying, I think all of you, that creates an environment where people can genuinely collaborate, can genuinely share good ideas and learn from each other. That's what we'd love to achieve.
Yeah, so we'll be doing that through obviously plenary sessions and workshops, and we'll be doing site visits as well, I think.
There will be, so the event has an exhibition, as we have here. There will be some technical sessions and special interest sessions where you can really dig down into the subjects that really interest you. There'll be a summit where we try and get our leaders to talk to each other, so that'll be a nice challenge. But there will also be visits and physical demonstrations, so you can get your hands on the technology, and hopefully you can see it in action. What we're also going to try and do is just to say, actually, not just visits to the West Midlands. We've got some good stuff to show, but actually, where else in the UK could you go? And in Ireland as well. You know, so before and after the Congress, where could you go and see some amazing things? We've got some amazing examples. You know, if people are here in the UK, you've travelled, say, from Australia, it'd be great to go somewhere else and see these things in action. And we think you've got things that you can actually put your hands on and experience in real life. We'd love people to just experience intelligent transport systems in action.
From my perspective, one of the things that I think would be really interesting is we talk about the data sharing, to do some kind of data hack, I think is the phrase that I hear bandied around, where we can pull in maybe 2 or 3 different sets of data from different countries, look at a specific circumstance, incident, instance, and then compare that and analyse it, and then try to come out with a conclusion at the end. Is that something that you have seen done before, Sven?
Yeah, actually, in adding to Donal's and Kimmo's magic word of collaboration is that it's very good example is actually the Nordic cooperation between the Nordics and Baltics, which is called Nordic Plus, where our joint delegations have been with a joint stand on different ITS World and European congresses and conferences before. And of course, the good news is that we are also doing that in Sevilla this year and coming up to Birmingham, of course.
Excellent.
So this is really something which shows how the different organizations can cooperate, and not just on a world's level, but actually doing something together, sharing costs and sharing experiences. But at the same time, these joint either visits or joint trade shows are the very, very fruitful ground for picking up the cooperation partners. Like, I'm sure that by the end of this visit here, I have found a very good possible partners in Finland and, of course, in UK. We are here in Manchester. Sure. So that really facilitates and actually even forces you to do something like this. Otherwise, then just coming here and drink beer is not the target.
It's nice, though.
It's nice, and it helps. Although, as you have heard, that the Nordic people are not so talkative.
No.
But yes, that helps.
It helps them. So we obviously talk about the collaboration side of things quite a bit, and you're here. You're looking to obviously export your products to the marketplace, as Miki is doing successfully from New Zealand. Are you doing that through partnerships? Are you doing that through setting up companies? So how do you do that when you're looking to do your exports?
Yes, definitely. In our case, we definitely need a local partner because we need the local support while the service has been already provided. So it is something which can't be done from out of Estonia. And of course, the sales operations, we need the local people and local know-how for that. That is definitely something. And of course, during these type of visits, as I mentioned, they make a good ground for finding these type of possible partners, as we have here, and later on when we return to London, we have engaged Estonian and Finnish embassies even to the place, so they have invited some people whom we otherwise won't be able maybe to visit or open the doors for them.
Yeah, so that's not just having potential new clients, that's also looking at potential supply partners.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Miki, is that?
Very much the same. We've got very much a partnership centred strategy, because we can be very good in a vertical, but that's only part of the picture. And so you need to be a good partner to attract good partners, and they're both on supply and distribution side. So a great example of that is AWS, who we're working with on an infrastructure level, but I think a more relevant example in this market is the Department for Transport. So we're working closely with them consuming BODS data. We've just done a spotlight on the English market in terms of on-time performance of the top 6 bus networks, and the DFT and some of the other organisations around there have been instrumental in making sure that we're getting the most value out of that data. People would probably know in this market that the BODS data has not had the best reputation. However, we've found it to be excellent, really good source, well curated. There are some exceptions there. I wouldn't be too proud if I was Transport for London with the data that's in there. I mean, it's their stock matching is quite low. But again, understanding that through DFT has been helpful for us.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they'll be thankful for that, I suppose, to one point as well, though, because it means it shows them what good can look like as well. So then they have a benchmark to aspire to as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that this data quality is really important in both. I think Sven and Kimmo have talked about that. It's just like it's sort of your entry point into these conversations.
And so it's really interesting to get that perspective from the world of commerce, from the two gents that are sort of bookending the panel that I've got here. But then in the middle, obviously, we're looking at those that maybe are having companies coming into their country or their territory with new solutions coming to them. How receptive are the ITS community in your territories? Donal, I'll start with you.
Well, very, very much so. Like in terms of cross-border, cooperation and getting, because again, as I said, the same issues affect the people in different countries. So it's the same issue. When is the bus coming? Is it full? Is it going to rain? Am I going to get wet? Or whatever these fundamental issues are. So the sharing of information and experiences, certainly in terms of the data, like everyone thinks their data is perfect.
Yeah, of course.
Or at least that's what you've got, work with it, kind of. So, but you're learning something there. And you're learning, and even from artificial intelligence, we're going to learn a lot more about how fundamental models, etc. So that's really, it's all a learning experience. Yeah. If we had cracked it, we wouldn't be here.
Absolutely. And from the Finnish perspective, Kimmo, how does that play out with you?
I was just thinking about what was already mentioned here, that when we are like taking Finnish companies to abroad, we are looking at the partnership, because we realize that it's quite rare that some companies can go there and just to sell something. They always need some local ones there. And it's vice versa. If someone is coming to Finland, it's like a win-win situation for the companies. It's like someone is selling something to Finland, there is a company helping them in order to get also some money from the deal. So it's like it's a good partnership thing.
Yeah. So you obviously have an opportunity for a Finnish company to start to act as the conduit in the local market, as opposed to seeing it as somebody coming in and eating their lunch to a.
Of course, we have sometimes we have some overlapping.
Sure.
Would like to say, which is a challenge. But if there is a good business case, then this kind of opportunities, those are partnership cases.
Yeah, sure.
And maybe to add, just coming with these type of joint delegations, then we will be able to provide a wider range of services rather than putting the one piece of the puzzle there. But if there are other puzzle pieces available and they can be provided at the same instance, then it's much more better chances to find this.
Yeah, so you're providing a solution rather than just a component.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely. Chris, experience of bringing in international suppliers into Transport for West Midlands. Have you got anything that particularly springs to mind?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the moment, if we're currently doing an automated vehicle project, Australian company that have got UK base now, that's set up there. They've got opportunities elsewhere in the world. We're quite keen to see that the West Midlands a place you come and do innovation, where you come and feel comfortable to come and try some of these products, try some of these innovations. Some brilliant UK companies on our doorstep, but also We don't mind them being the other side of the world as well. We'll work with the right company to do the right thing.
So almost setting up West Midlands as almost not a test bed, but a centre of excellence where people
we'd
can...
like to do. We appreciate there's a lot of great stuff going on in the UK, but we obviously would like to try and see the West Midlands as a place where people are happy to come and try new technologies and have a chance to do something practically, with real people in the real world.
Sure. And that obviously works very well up in the Northern Hemisphere. Do you hear that type of language coming out in the Southern Hemisphere as well?
Pretty often. I think New Zealand's been often considered as a place where you try something, and if it goes really well, you can scale it, and if it doesn't work out, well, then I guess no one really noticed, did they? But I think that's part of that experimental mentality, and it's about how do you learn quickly. There's often a lot of focus on, can you commercialise or all of these things, but often it's just how do you learn as fast as possible to do these things. And I think, again, bring it back to the UK, when we start to look at the spotlight that we've done on the English market, there are some things that really stand out for us. I mean, we looked at the top 6 regional authorities. We had to exclude London from the 6 because they didn't have data, but the 2 best performing regions in terms of on-time performance overall are West Midlands, congratulations, and West Yorkshire. So if you've got West in your name, it seems like that's a good start. But probably the outstanding new performance was from Transport for Greater Manchester. So they've gone through this massive transition here with franchising.
B network, yeah.
They have almost no early running. So one of the worst things you can do if you're a bus operator is run early. The best in the world is Tokyo. We've assessed their data for over a year. They have no early running, like 0. It's clearly a criminal offence if you're a driver to do that. But TFGM, if we put the slide up, you would hardly see the early running bar. They're less than 1%. It's a fantastic foundation. And I think those things are less country driven and more, what's the mentality? Are people willing to experiment?
Yeah, the point of piloting, if I may, was very good in case also in Estonia, that for 2 reasons. First of all, we have such a small country that setting up something will never bring your investment back.
Yes.
So you have to go.
You have to go. Yeah, that's right.
But secondly, we in our country, the legislation is maybe a little easier, or the people are more. We don't have the old package of old regulations there. So the good example of ITS upcoming project is to bring in the legislation of letting the autonomous vehicles on the streets,
Right.
not just in parking or closed zones. So something like that. If that legislation is going to be accepted by the end of this year, then everybody who is wants to try them out in the real environment, you are most welcome.
Yeah, fantastic.
Kimmo, from a Finnish perspective,
I was just thinking about, we have really good examples, for example, related to public transportation and city transport, renewing thing related to taking new rails available in cities which were not existing any city rails before. So at the same time, they established this kind of new rapid railway system for example, for city of Tampere. They managed to establish also this kind of living lab, which is set up of a technological background for different kind of solutions. So different companies can join the system and they can test it, and there are also available connections to abroad. Because of the developers and also the delivering company Skoda, they have also connections to abroad at the same time. So it's a
really helpful.
good job, this kind of living labs.
And Donal, so in the ITS nationals community, are you seeing this type of real life collaboration happening in that environment where they're coming together and talking about a project where 2 or 3 of the different nationals are working together?
Yes, well, certainly there's a lot of European projects, and through Ertigo as well, they lead a lot of the projects. So in terms of the ITS nationals, it's to get the information about those projects across the people, and even Poland has examples as well. So it's to get everyone involved, then internationally as well, get people excited, and it's even bringing it back to the World Congress. The World Congress is coming in 2027. Here to the United Kingdom. this is the opportunity to grab that. It's 2 years' time. So, you know, it's like the planets aligning this last week. Doesn't happen that often. So the opportunity is there. And it's to bring everyone together and say, I heard you're doing this. How did that work out? And it's nearly off-the-book discussions that you have are going to be the most valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. Almost the water cooler moment that they call it in offices that everybody missed after the COVID pandemic. Just for the audience that are not quite sure, we talked about the ITS Nationals, and you mentioned obviously Europe. Just to clarify, your membership base is not just European, is it?
No, well, there's 30 national ITS associations, so they stretch from Turkey up to the Nordics and down to Portugal and Iceland and Ireland on the western side. So geographically, it's more than just Europe, United Kingdom, around. So it's not an EU kind of thing. And it was born out of Vertigo, who has the franchise for the World Congresses. And it's just a question of each national association, like ITS UK, just having a connector to connect to ITS Germany if they have a question. So that's really the basis.
So it's the conduit between all of the organisations. So just to clarify that for everybody. As much as I'd love to sit here chatting around with everybody here, we obviously have a timeline that Max is going to start throwing things at me in a moment or two to move us along. So, gents, before we leave, let's just try and offer one particular thought to leave our audience with if we can. So I started at that end, so I'll start at this end. You'll be last, Miki. Sven, there's a message to the audience when we're talking about collaboration, international working, sharing best practice and knowledge. What would be the one message you'd like to impart to the audience?
I think the most important thing is to be open, because maybe the best partners will not be in your country or in your neighboring village. They might be somewhere across or another side of the border somewhere.
Sure.
And nowadays the information is so easy to get. But the most important thing is to get out and really physically meet people as well. Nowadays, Teams and all other online options are so easy, but nothing still works better than the physical meeting with somebody. You can look at the eye and you can feel the pulse. Plus, as you mentioned, the beard possibly.
Okay. Chris?
I think I'd agree with the openness. I think it's very easy to think that you've got the solution yourself in your own area of your own country. We haven't got the answer to everything. And the only way to get those answers is to work collaboratively with people. Exactly. And I think networking, working face-to-face and understanding somebody that's tackled that and done well and talking to them about how they did that and where it didn't work as well is really, really important. So I think that opportunity to get face-to-face and talk about real problems and be open enough to say, actually, I might not have the solution, but these people over here do.
Super, thank you. Kimmo?
As a matter of fact, I was also about to use word open, but 3 times. Because open innovation, so we have to be open for innovation, and it means cooperation between each other. Open data, which means that when we open data, there is new business opportunities on top of that. And the third one is open for interoperability, because we quite often see systems are not working together, and we are blocking the development on of that. So that's why. Okay. 3 times open.
Donal?
Okay, I'll go for twice. So share your challenges and share your solutions.
Very good.
Great, yes, a very good one.
Great, and I think the last one, just in that spirit, I'm going to try not to repeat anyone here, but be objective. When you're looking at how you might learn from someone, see if you can find a basis of comparison there that is fact-based so that you can do that. And just in the spirit of that, the index that we've published is free to use for anyone, and I think that's an important part of that, is we're using open data, so we think the best thing to do is to basically make that available to everyone. And if countries and regions want to participate in that, we'd love to chat and include you in the index. We think it's for the benefit of everyone.
Great, thank you. Well, gentlemen, I mean, I've scribbled some notes down here. I think one of the things that we get caught up with is to remember that we're planning the systems and the transport infrastructure and services for people, human beings. We're not just planning them based on the ones and zeros, that the data that we've heard about all day is what we get caught up with. So let's remember that. And whilst data is important, I'll go back to the people again. By the sounds of it, it's the relationships that are going to make the opportunities for you to make this data reliable and usable and collaborative together that's key. And just wherever they are in the world, let's make sure that we're reaching out to them. That's either through your own ITS network or your own ITS Nationals network, or even coming to the World Congress, Chris, in 2027. So I'm sure you'd like to wish everybody well and to see them at the event in 27.
Just a short train ride away.
Yeah, and if they want to get in touch with you, see you at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, if you could thank my panel, please, I'd be grateful. Thank you very much.